We are live.
Streaming Wars. Wow. I didn't know what the title was.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live.
What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. My name is Steady. With me on this episode is Man, Myth, Legend, the guy who apparently is an Avalanche fan, JC.
You're just now learning this? Have I not been talking about this
I
in the night?
couldn't tell. Something gave it away. It was either the hat or the shirt or the background you're fading into.
You know what?
I'm not really sure.
Thank you to all my favorite teams that make Zoom backgrounds. Because you can use this kind of stuff. You know, if you ever have a Zoom meeting and stuff, make this put this little background for your favorite team and represent to the cup. Anything less than the cup is a disappointment. Go Avs, go. Let's go.
There you go. We also got the man behind the magic, the one and only Joe Garcia. What's going on, Joe?
Oh, excited too. You know, I'm excited for JC for his Avalanche because he's a diehard fan, and I'm excited for San Antonio Spurs making it into their playoff game, or the play-in game, should we say?
Play-in tournaments. Got to
Play-in
win 2 to get
tournament.
in. Got to win 2 to get in,
So,
yeah.
Ted's not believing, so if they went Wednesday, Ted, you need to turn in your fan card, man.
It's not that. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's just like we've had so many games in the last month and a half, and we're battling injuries again. Like, I'm always going to be a Spurs fan, but I'm always like realistic. And our guys are just beat up. Let's be honest with it. Like, we've had the toughest schedule the last month.
All I
and a
hear
half
is
of the
excuses.
season.
No mamas, Ted.
No, man. I mean,
Here we go. Here we go.
I like the play-in setup because a lot of teams were playing. They had something to play for up until the end, which is nice. I think they could beat Memphis. Lakers are going to be tough whether LeBron's back or not, so we'll see. The Warriors, though, if they come out of this with a 7 seed, they're dangerous. I think they could potentially win it all. They're just getting hot at the right time.
Nah, I got no faith in the Warriors. They're fool's gold, just like the Lakers, bro.
We'll see. We'll see.
Fool's gold.
And Derek White, man, I feel a lot better if Derek was in there because he just brings so much intensity. He's great off the dribble. He's great on the fast breaks, and it's a huge loss going into the playoffs.
JC kind of looks like a ghost from Ghostbusters with that background.
I'm trying to tell him. So JC, you keep you're like Casper right now. You keep fading into the background.
The TV is this way. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes. If I'm looking this way, I'm watching the action right now. There's like a minute left in the first period. So when they get to the first intermission, you'll have my full attention.
What's the name of that ghost from Ghostbusters, the new one?
Muncher.
Muncher. There you go. JC's Muncher.
I was Muncher 50 pounds ago, but
all right, so we got another great show for you guys. Our top story of the night is going to be all about the streaming wars and a huge merger update that happened today. But first, we are going to talk about what's coming up for us on the Geekcast. Releasing this week is the brand new Zack Snyder film, Army of the Dead, which is dropping on Netflix. You might have already seen it in theaters, but if you did not, you can catch Army of the Dead on Netflix, and we will be reviewing that in a week. Next week,
really? That movie's
on our
coming
show.
out? I had no idea because WWE didn't tell me at all about it on Backlash last night.
Oh gosh, you know what? We'll probably talk about that in a second, but it was interesting. Yep. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out on Netflix. Catch our review next Monday on the Geekcast, and that kind of leads us into our first story a little bit. What else are the hell you guys watching? I'll start off with you, JC, and that way you can get back to your game afterwards. Let
That's
us
first
know.
intermission. You got me. Go.
Let us know what you're watching, and I know there's probably like 10 reality shows, but other than that, what else you got going on, man?
I'm caught up on Superman and Lois, which if you have HBO Max, you have about 2 hours to catch up before it goes off HBO Max because they just had it temporarily until it's come back on the CW. So I'm all caught up on Superman and Lois. My God, this series is pretty good. It's pretty damn.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are caught up, but what they got set up, where they're going, it looks like they're still exploring the Infinite Earths thing, and
Ooh.
man, oh man, it's interesting. So, are you caught up, Ted, or no?
I'm not caught up. I actually, my son made sure that we got caught up on the Flash first, so I'm caught up on the Flash.
All right, I'm sure the episodes are on the CW app or something. You can catch up if you don't catch HBO Max. So,
Man,
yeah. You mentioned reality shows. Challenge All Stars is on Paramount Plus. Watching that, and Couples Retreat on VH1 is actually pretty entertaining. I will say. So,
I bet.
yeah, those are the
I'm a
main
little
ones right
bit disappointed with the All Stars.
now. Why?
It's such a short season. It
Oh
kind of
yeah.
feels like a half season of what we would
Because of
normally
COVID,
get.
Ted.
I think obviously they quarantined. They filmed it in Argentina, and I think what it was is that this show was actually
They're really old and they can't do the challenges.
not just that, but this was really a fan-driven show, much like the whole hashtag release the Snyder Cut. A lot of
Yeah.
fans were saying we want the OGs, hashtag we want the OGs, and Mark said, you know what, let's do it. He presented it to Beat and Murray and MTV. They said, yeah, let's do it. We'll do something we could do with Paramount Plus. And he reached out to who would want to be interested. They got like over 80 former Challenge alum that wanted to do this show. Obviously, it was a small commitment on time. And I think this is really just getting it started as far as how we gauge what kind of interest. There's already talk that they're going to do a season 2, and I'm excited about that. And but there's 2 more episodes of the 2-episode finale. I'm sure half the teams are going to be gone by the second day, and then they still have the reunion. So you're going to get about 10 episodes in all, which on a streaming service, that's pretty standard, So
Pretty standard, but when you're dealing with a contest that starts out with at least what 30 contestants,
a good number actually.
yeah, I mean it was a lot. So it's just odd to see them kind of sprinting through this last part of the season. Medris is online. She says, Muncher, I came in at the wrong time.
Oh man.
And she's also watching Mayor of Easttown and Discovery of Witches. I've not heard of either one of those. Are they any good?
Yeah.
Let us know, Medris. Appreciate the comments.
I will say that Tina is watching One Tree Hill. When she works, she's actually just starting that all over again.
Is that still on? Oh, it's
on Hulu.
reruns?
Yeah, and she and I are watching the Texas 6 on Paramount Plus. Really good. I think it's like an 8-episode documentary about a 6-man football team in Strawn, Texas, and the season they're trying to three-peat, and it's pretty cool. I would love to go see a 6-man game live. It looks like it's a lot of fun to watch. So
I felt like my high school, because we were magnet school, like we could have done that and we would have like wrecked shop because
you were part of a 6A TAF school.
It's exactly what it was. And we had so many football players that went to our specific school. So yeah, we would have wrecked shop. It would have been awesome. Not that I played, but I could have, because it would have been against.
I mean,
you don't come across as an athlete, Ted.
No, well,
you'd be surprised.
I mean, he did wrestling training for a day. You can ask Chris Marvel about that. But
that's right.
I mean, Health Careers I know doesn't have a lot of sports, but if they had a football team, they'd probably play 6-man because it's a standalone school. So
I wish they would have. I wish we all would have. It would have been great.
They kill it in swimming, though.
I believe it. Joe, what about you, sir? What are you watching these days?
Well, the show that I'm really been intrigued by is, of course, Skinwalker Ranch, the new season. And then,
are you watching that?
I am. I watched.
You didn't tell me.
I've been watching it. And I like it.
All right.
The continuation from the prior season. Things are getting interesting. They're getting brave, digging. Looking for the water that they died and they couldn't find it. Where did the water go? And the same thing again. And then somebody sees something off camera. Oh my God, what is it? To me, sometimes I think the guys are just playing it up. Because it is reality TV. But it's still interesting, the things that you do find on the ranch. And this time, we got to see some petroglyphs. So that was a nice touch,
Okay, so Can I set this up for everybody else though who hasn't seen it yet or heard about it?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna set this up real quick. So I knew very little about Skinwalker Ranch. I kind of knew about it as sort of like a myth, like something that like La Llorona. It's like a myth. No one has any like
El
concrete
Cocoy.
evidence. Yeah. Stuff like that, right? So in northern Utah is a plot of land, for anybody who's watching right now, is a plot of land that's been owned by families over the generations, right? And this area has the most active paranormal, um, absurd, outworldly activity you can imagine. We're not talking about like ghosts or anything like that. We're talking about like whenever you hear stories about cattle that get mutilated, but there's no evidence on what might have done it because there's no trail of blood. There's no blood at all at the scene. Or what else, Joe? Glowing orbs that float around. There's things in the sky.
They've seen a lot
the
of
hills. Yeah,
what do
the
you call
hills light
those?
up at night, and
The
there's
hills have
nothing
eyes.
out there. So this is all like the weirdest stuff that happens around the world, but in like one place. It's so heavy of this activity, and so history is now doing a docu-series, and they're measuring things. They're getting all kinds of weird signatures of wavelengths, and they're seeing traces of radiation in some areas, and it's all wild. Season 1 is great. Season 2 just started. I highly recommend it too because I'm watching it, and that's the Legend of Skinwalker Ranch. What do they call it?
Skinwalker Ranch, but they see a lot of cryptids there as well. A lot of different types of animals that shouldn't exist, but they do briefly there. I guess they in that area, and then they disappear again. They've been seeing like huge, gigantic wolves and all sorts of weird
Chupacabras.
things out there, dude, and UFO activity and things that shouldn't exist in this world but do. So it's just a nexus for anything that's weird. It's probably there, So it's an intriguing show.
Very intriguing. That was actually my favorite story. One of the calves was grabbed by a wolf-like creature, but it was much larger than a wolf,
Like a dire wolf.
like a dire wolf, and it grabbed this calf between the bars of the pen. And the owner runs out. I think he first runs out with either a Magnum or a shotgun.
It was
right?
a 45 mag.
45 mag, and he puts like 4 or 5 bullets into this thing, and it keeps going. It doesn't act hurt. It doesn't scatter off. Nothing happens to it. He runs back to the house, busts out the heavy duty rifle next, takes a couple of shots with the rifle. This thing finally lets go of the calf, takes off. He goes in pursuit after it, never finds the creature, just up and disappears. He loses the tracks. They never see it again. But it's weird stories like that. And if you ask anybody around that area, if you ask anybody who's been following it for years, everybody has a different theory about what's going on. But there's really not any concrete evidence to kind of lead one way, and that's what this docuseries is trying to do. Wow, so much time spent on this one show that I didn't think we'd be talking about.
I'm actually watching also Debris. It's a show that came out on NBC, and it's on the Peacock network as well, so you can check it out. Really intriguing. It's about an alien spacecraft that broke up, and the pieces of the craft fell to Earth, and people are starting to find them all over the world. And every time they come into contact with a piece of the debris, it does some strange stuff. Like really weird things people phase through matter. It stops time. It does all sorts of weird stuff, and people are weaponizing some of the debris. And then you have the other people, which are, like the intelligence here for the United States, and also MI6 over in England. They're actually working together to try to recover the debris. So it's a very intriguing storyline. It's a new series that I've watched, and I've enjoyed watching it. So if you haven't seen it, check that out. And of course, good old anime. You know, I like me a good anime. So I got into
Of
Demon
course.
Slayer. I've been watching Naruto, you know, and Naruto Shippuden forever. And now finally the kids are starting to come around to Boruto. And they're like, Dad, now you got to watch Boruto. It's getting real good. I'm like, I purposely don't watch sometimes so I can catch up with 3 or 4 episodes. So I'm middle of working and they're like, you got to check it out. It's so good. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it. Just don't tell me. Don't tell me what happens. You know, so I've been checking that out. But really, at the end of the day, I've just been watching a whole lot of sports, man. It's like the long season that is San Antonio Spurs basketball is almost at an end, and I'm kind of ready, dude. I'm tired.
You've had a busy season, Joe.
Yeah, busy season and not a good season. You know, that's the thing is like covering sports for so long. It's like you have to deal with the fans, you know, and these fans have been crazy this season. They're mad and they basically shit on the team after every win and after every
How old
loss.
are these fans though?
They're not true fans, Joe.
They're bad. It's been bad.
If they weren't around in the Hemisphere Arena days, if they weren't around the pre-Tim Duncan days, I don't want to hear it. Because then they're just a little spoiled by what went on over the last 20 some odd years.
Yeah, it gets bad, dude.
If you never walked the upper deck of the Hemisphere Arena and the scariest stairs in the world, you took one fall, you were landing on the floor mid-court probably because it's so damn steep. I don't want to hear it. I remember the bad years. You got to live through the bad years to appreciate the championship one. So
these fans are spoiled, man. They want instant success now.
It takes time. And just be thankful Pop is sticking around because he wants to do it.
I don't know. We don't know. That's what I've been telling everybody. I said,
the fact that he stuck around this long after Tim Duncan retired is enough for me.
I told everybody, I try to tell him since the beginning of the season, you all have to enjoy Coach Pop while you still can. We don't know if this is his last season or not. He's going to come back for one more year. He's not going to announce it. If he's done, he's going to go through the whole season. At the end of the season, can be like Tim Duncan. Okay, peace. I'm out. You know,
he'll just leave a note at the door, like, oh, by the way,
I'm gone.
I'm retiring.
You know, so
I don't want him to retire. And I'm being selfish about it because if he comes back one more year, then it's almost a guarantee he'll be the winningest coach in NBA history. And I would like that title for him, but I also know that he could care less about that title. So I could also see him leaving after this year just to make sure he doesn't get it and right off into the sunset.
Yeah. You know, another thing that I've actually been getting into is starting to get into a little bit of gaming now that I'm going to have some more free time. So now I can play Scott Pilgrim with you, JC.
I was going to say, when you guys want to play, I've just unlocked Nega Scott. So
now I'm going to be able to. And we can play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when that drops.
That should be Q3 this year. I'm looking forward to that.
It's going to be awesome.
On my Steam wish list.
Yeah, but another thing too is like now my son, my youngest, I made a deal with him and I said, look, if you do, because he saw my gaming rig, you know, I have a new gaming PC. And he's like, well, now I want a gaming PC. I'm like, well, you make the grades. You can get one. I'll get you one. Well, he made the grades, so.
Okay. Hold on. Teach him how to build one.
There you go.
Well, this is the thing. He's getting a starter. He's getting a starter PC because it lends itself to upgrades, and that's what I'm going to wind up teaching him. So I'm going to teach him. Look, this is the chassis. So now you're going to learn to upgrade once you have the guts. You know, the frame. You can take the guts out and upgrade the motherboard and the CPU, the GPU, the fans, the power supply, the whole bit. He just needed a frame. So I'm going to get him a frame, and the rest is up to him. But I think I might be getting a little bit of help from the place that I brought my computer, which is called I Buy Power. I kind of reached out to them on social media, and they reached out to me, and they said, DM us. So I did, and well, no. Well, we'll see what happens. It's getting interesting behind the scenes. So maybe I'd be gifted a PC here pretty soon.
Yeah, teach them young to build a PC. My 7-year-old daughter is already wondering when I'm going to teach her to build one because she saw me do this one. So that'll help them for life because maybe like a small thing and upgrade one piece in the future, and that'll be good for them the way technology is now.
I'll tell you one thing though, these gaming PCs they require a lot of maintenance. Like every 2 months, you got to take them apart and you got to clean everything. And they have filters on the top. They have filters in the front, on the bottom of the power supply. The exhaust has filters.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to blow everything out with the compressed air or a little compressor. Clean all the fans out. Clean all the GPU fan out. Clean all the dust from everything, and then give the tempered glass a little once over. Let
I'm
everything
gonna
dry.
need you
Put it
to
together.
do a how-to video about this, Joe.
It's probably already on YouTube.
Everybody that has a gaming rig goes through this, because if you don't clean it, all that dust is just going to bog you down. It's going to overheat your PC, shorten the life, and before you know it, you got to buy a new GPU. So,
got to do that with your gaming consoles too. So,
yeah, somebody said here right now, Edrio Andres Ramos, and he's not lying. The filters got filters, bro. It's nuts, man. Once you start getting into the guts of this thing, you're like, oh my god, it's awful, man. I spend like almost an hour every time I take it apart, clean it, got to put it all back together. Then I got to roll around on the ground like a freaking roly-poly, putting all the cables and stuff back. I'm just like, geez, dude.
Okay, make sure you put that in the video too.
No, I don't think nobody wants to see a fat man on the floor.
Hey, I need some entertainment in my life. That could be funny. Put that shit on TikTok.
Exactly.
Yeah, but anyway, gaming, anime, some streaming series here and there. Looking forward to some movies on HBO Max this summer. Looking forward to some Ghostbusters. I'm looking for the return of us to go and see some movies in the theater, and this time JC can go, and hopefully JC, you can give Ted maybe $5 so he can pay for the post-credit scene this time.
Negotiable.
He was being cheap on us.
We'll see what happens. Let's see here. I too am also watching the like, what is it called again? Something Skinwalker Ranch. It's called something. It's the hunt of
the secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
The secret of Skinwalker Ranch on the History Channel. Not as good so far as the first season. The first season they were doing some very unique tests and coming out with some very strange results. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, but so far not up to par yet. Season 1. I'm also finishing The Curse of Oak Island. Same producers as the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. It's all about hidden treasure from the
Knights
earliest. There you go. So from the earliest travelers to Nova Scotia. And it's all true. People have been coming to this continent well before Christopher Columbus ever did, and a lot of those buried.
Vikings.
A lot of those buried some very ancient artifacts when they arrived here. So it's very interesting, and I'm on season 8. I've been binging the same for the last couple of weeks, so excited. I've also started probably my favorite anime series right now. Started season 4 of Castlevania, the final season.
It's dope.
I'm gonna soak this one up, man. I'm not gonna binge it. I'm gonna take my time with it because it's such a compelling story. It's the choreography is amazing. The score is amazing. It's brutal. It's gory, and there's so much emotion put into it. So, if you haven't started it, if you like anime, if you love the Castlevania video game series all the way back from the early days of Nintendo, I highly suggest you check out Castlevania on Netflix. The final season is here. It's season 4. I've already watched the first episode, and it doesn't miss a beat. It's the same as good as it's always been, and I'm very excited. It's sad to see it go, but sometimes you want to see shows go before they get too stagnant and get too repetitive. But Castlevania season 4, the final season, is here. Shout out to.
I was gonna say, if that was the case, then why the hell did Netflix get rid of The Circle? I love The Circle.
It's still around. What are you talking about?
They canceled it, bro.
No, they didn't. They just had a great season.
I kid you not. They canceled it.
That pisses me off.
JC's gonna be pissed.
I'm gonna be ranting on Island of Reality this week if that's true.
I'm telling you, I'm dead serious, dude. They canceled it. It pissed me off.
They had such a great season too.
I know.
How's Ryan gonna get on there now?
That's what I'd like to know, because we were pushing for him to start getting on there.
Maybe we'll have to do the Mexican Circle.
Well, I mean, they had the Circle Brazil and the Circle France, and it's all filmed in the same place in the UK.
The Circle San Antonio, location Marbach Road.
I'll see, because they still have Too Hot to Handle this summer, and I think they already confirmed another Love Is Blind season.
If we get Ryan into the Circle Marbach Road edition, he needs to do the Edgar. He needs to get the Edgar haircut.
he'll do it, man. You pay him enough, he might actually do it. So I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I think he'd look dope with the Edgar, dude. He could rock it.
Let's see.
People probably don't even know what I'm talking about right now.
Some do.
Some do. Yeah, exactly.
Think of the J student. Oh, the Circle was canceled in the UK, not in the US.
Dun dun dun.
Okay, don't scare. I'm about to punch you.
I was pissed. Dude.
No, no. It originated in the UK.
Watching the Avalanche, and you're ruining his night by feeding him this false information, Joe.
Yeah, fake news.
Yeah,
fake news.
It.
No, the UK version was canceled, but they're still keeping it going. In the US. And it looks like, I mean, they might still be filming another Brazil, because they film it all in a complex in the UK. So one place. And yeah, this was a good season. And I think actually one guy from season 1 was rumored to be an alternate for the next season of The Challenge, didn't make the cut. And then one guy who was just on 12 Dates of Christmas on HBO Max, he's actually currently filming The Challenge right now as we speak.
Nice.
So they're starting to branch into other reality TV. So.
You know, another reality show that my family just got into all of a sudden randomly. Survivor, dude. I'm like, so random, dude.
God.
I'm like,
I'll tell you right now, the best reality show on TV right now that anybody can watch is Ms. and Mrs.
I don't know, dude.
So entertaining.
Too Hot to Handle is horrible, but once you start watching, you can't stop, dude. It's a train wreck from hell. It's a train wreck from hell.
How you sound like Ryan. He loves that damn show.
You can't stop watching. It's so bad you can't stop watching it.
No, but honestly, Ms. and Mrs., you don't have to be a wrestling fan to love it. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's so hilarious. Just the hijinks and everything they get
I feel sorry for the Miz. Doesn't he have nothing but daughters, right?
He has 2 daughters.
And the wife.
And
wow.
He lives with his mom, his dad, his mother-in-law all live there. It's, oh my God, it's insane.
The Miz is not the king of his castle. Let's put it like that.
But he found, like, they just bought this new house, and he found like a secret room under the stairs he didn't know was there, and he turned it into like a little man cave to escape. And there's just an episode of him jamming out like rock band and shit like that. It's pretty hilarious. So, yeah, it's a good show. Tina and I are always cracking up watching that. So
yeah,
I
hey,
forgot they
Meredith
had a show. I gotta check that out.
Meredith was saying, Ted, that on that Oak Island, she goes, her dad's known about it since the 70s. They still haven't found the damn treasure because there ain't no damn treasure there. There ain't a damn thing there.
Joe, if you knew the history,
I know the history, but I've seen it, dude.
Man.
There ain't nothing in that damn place. It's been picked clean.
Oh, so there was that's a different story. There was treasure, but the people who've been living there probably already took it.
Well, let's put it like this. There's other treasure hunters, right? So other treasure hunters probably knew about the place. They've done picked it clean. There ain't nothing left no more.
Yeah.
It's all in the black market, bro. It's all in the black market now.
It's just, yeah, there you go. Or it's been passed down from family member to family member, generation.
The only treasure that was actually
like that.
there was religious. Maybe there were religious relics of some kind, and they've already exchanged hands. You know,
could be. It could be, sir. Let's see here. Other than that, I'm also continuing playing my favorite PC game, 7 Days to Die. Still in alpha. It's been the longest game in alpha in the history of video games. I can almost guarantee you that. New updates coming very soon. 7 Days to Die is a first-person shooter sandbox game where you're basically in the zombie apocalypse and you're having to find resources, create your own food, and all that good stuff. And very exciting. New updates are coming very soon. I absolutely love it. I'm like 300 hours in since late November. So yeah, not too shabby. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. So.
I thought you were playing Leisure Suit Larry. You know, Wet Dreams Don't Die. Happy Ending Edition. You know,
classic.
Oh God.
Don't lie.
Sorry to disappoint you, Joe. Sorry to disappoint you, man. Let's see here. We have some other news to talk about. Let's see. This week, somebody who JC is very familiar with, Dave Bautista. He actually said in an interview with Collider this week that There are certain characters I've latched onto over the past 10, 20 years, and Bane was one of them. No discredit to Tom Hardy's version of Bane. I love that performance. I loved that film. I just love a crack at it. I think I could bring an interesting twist to it, and I think I could do the character justice, no pun intended. Not only in performance, but also in physicality. I love that role where I'd have to go back up to 320 pounds just to play this character. Like that, it would happen. I could play Bane in a way that is not only menacing and ominous, but also freakishly intelligent. Bane would be the type of character that's so menacing and so terrifying and so intelligent, he would hardly ever raise his voice. Joe, I want to hear from you first, man. Would you be down to see Dave Bautista take on the character Bane in a future DC project?
I'm down to see Dave Batista do whatever Dave Batista wants to do, man. The guy is great at playing Drax. He's a great comedian, and whatever character he wants to take a stab at, you let him do it. You know, he's only got so much time on this earth. Let him do what he's meant to do, man. I'll give it a go. You know, I think he could do a good job. He seems like he's really down to play Bane, so that's a good thing. You know, he's passionate.
Oh yeah, I think it's one of those roles that he might, one of those roles where an actor or actress is born to play a character, and I think Dave Bautista would be killer at it. JC, what about you, man?
That would be an interesting going from the humorous but somehow serious Drax to a more serious and try to stay serious Bane, but it fits. He's already got the body for it. He's already established enough people who could say, yeah, let's see it. And depending on how dark the Batman is that's coming out with Robert Pattinson playing Batman, he might fit into that universe if they decide to go like a second movie beyond that. So it's good. It's a smart play on him just to get his name out there, much like the Miz is trying to get his name out there to play Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat, to the point where he's been wearing sunglasses to the ring every time he's on TV now to really sell it, So, but yeah, I could definitely see it happening. And you want someone that's a fan of the character that already has in their mind how they want to play it. That'd be really, really good.
Listen, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm still not sold on Mike the Miz taking on that character. I want someone who at least has some experience with martial arts, and I don't think Mike has any of that. So to me, it wouldn't feel as genuine enough. Am I wrong about that?
I'll stop you right there. He has a background in athletics for one. Martial arts, I'm not sure, but if you go on a Peacock, watch the WWE 24 documentary about The Miz, learn about his drive. People doubt him on anything. He says he's going to do something, he does it. The shit that he went through early on in the locker room, all the crap everyone gave him because he was a reality TV guy. There's no way you can make it in wrestling. You don't belong here. He did everything right. People don't give him credit for it to be as great as he is in the ring, on the mic, and everything like that. If he needs the training to play this character, he'll do it. He's that committed to it, and I have no doubt in my mind that whatever he needs to play Johnny Cage, he will do it, and I have full faith that he could play the character, whatever it takes.
All right, you're actually casting for the movie today. You pick Miz, you pick Ryan Reynolds, or you picking somebody other than those guys?
I'm picking Miz.
Ooh, Joe, what about you, sir?
No, I kind of with JC. Ryan Reynolds is more known as Deadpool now, so give the Miz a shot, dude. Let's see what he can do with the character. I think he can do a great job. He's a good actor. Look what he's done with the Miz character, and look what he did in the real world. He was already portraying the Miz before he was the Miz. So the dude's a performer, man. Let's see what he's got.
He had a different name, didn't he? Or was it always the Miz?
It was always Mike, but he always, when he was getting into on the challenge, his wrestling persona, he always called himself the Miz. And he carried that. He made his own logo. He went on the indies with it, even debuted in WWE and used his own logo for it. And how over do you have to be with the front office to where they'll let you turn the WWE logo upside down and use it as your own damn logo? And it stuck, So it's Vince loves him. Vince is committed to him, and given the opportunity, I think he would kill it.
Okay, so I know that we watched, or some of us watched, WrestleMania Backlash yesterday. I think they just threw WrestleMania in the title. just to get some more eyes on it because it wasn't really
That's
short.
that's what Peacock wanted. Yeah, that's what Peacock wanted.
Yeah. So it wasn't really short. Not a whole lot of highs throughout the night. A pay-per-view event, and there was one very interesting match. That was a lumberjack match between help me out, Miz and
Damian
who else?
Priest.
And Damian Priest. That's right. I always forget that guy's name. And Morrison was also somewhat around at times. And Joe, I don't know if you caught it or not, but the entire night they are promoting Zack Snyder's Army of the
God.
Dead on Netflix.
They were also
And,
promoting Army of the
so
Dead on UFC night, boxing, you name it,
they
dude.
no.
That's marketing. But hang on.
But they didn't do it like this though. So even before Miz goes into his match against Damian Priest, you have Morrison walking down hallways, knocking on doors, asking for the lumberjacks to be ready for the match. Lumberjack match is when you have individuals standing outside the ring. Anytime a guy gets thrown out, lumberjacks beat him up, throw him back in, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the lumberjacks aren't around. Instead, there's nothing but zombies in the hallways, roaming in the backstage area, and these zombies make their way all the way to the ring. So it turned into an episode of The Walking Dead. These zombies come out. There's smoke everywhere. There's decaying buildings on the jumbotrons, and it becomes this comedy zombie movie gimmick. It's Shaun of the Dead in the middle of the ring for the rest of that match. And I like it. I know it's a joke. I know it's a bit. I don't care. It's something new. And I also understand, though, a lot of fans were really turned off by it. JC, what boat
I'm gonna
did you
share
fall
the
into?
screen so everybody can see what you're talking about.
Well, that's the finish
This-
after Damian Priest won. And
here's
look, okay.
And here's another one. There you go.
There you go. You got Elvis, zombie Elvis there.
That was funny.
Yeah.
And if you didn't notice it, also when they were showing the commentators live on screen, in the background, some of the people in the Thunderdome were actually the zombies themselves.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So if you go back and watch throughout the pay-per-view, so they really played it up. Obviously, their lucky fans were not there. Fans would have shit on this so hard. This is the one night you probably could do it. But you know, I want to believe it's so bad it's good, but you know, the way they
So bad it's good.
the way they set this match up, it's a lumberjacks, it's serious stuff, and then they do this. It's like,
I don't know
okay,
who this
it
guy
is
is, but they needed to really give this stand-in some props, man. He played a good zombie.
No, all the zombies are great. I don't know if they got actors. I don't know if these were indie wrestlers that they got to work as extras that night or something, but the zombies themselves were great. They played the roles really well. But I'm just like, okay. I mean, it's WWE. They cross-promoted it. And if anybody benefited well from this, it was definitely AEW, because for whatever reason, people gave him shit about the finish to a Blood and Guts match that they had on TV a couple weeks ago, where Jericho went through the stage and there was obviously a crash pad underneath, because of course they're going to protect the workers, right? So AEW's been taking shit. Okay, AEW might have done this and that, but they didn't have zombies surrounding the ring for a lumberjack match on a high-profile pay-per-view. So
why don't we also talk a little bit about the one and only Rey Mysterio? And this was a touching picture. This is Rey Mysterio and his
great
son.
match. Yeah.
And the one on the
happy.
left, the one on the right is Rey Mysterio and his son winning the tag team match. Wow.
Yes,
First
last
father-son duo to ever do that, JC.
The tag titles. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we all predicted that on the WrestleCast. We got that right. Very good match. Dominic is a star in the making. He was voted Rookie of the Year by PWI Magazine overwhelmingly, and I think that's pretty obvious. He's got a lot of his father's chops there. We joke that he does a perfect frog splash like his biological father, Eddie Guerrero, after that whole kayfabe storyline they did years ago where Eddie was his real father through a DNA test and stuff like that. So, but
Oh God.
you know, that's a great moment. You never really get to see that in wrestling. It's very reminiscent of Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr. being on the field at the same time years ago for the Mariners. You know, it's one of those things in sports that you love those father-son moments, and that was pretty cool.
So I didn't know that was the first father-son tag team title holders. Is that true, JC? The Rhodes never did that?
No, they never did. That's actually very true.
Wow, interesting.
You know what? They made a little picture of this. I gotta show it. This is what you're talking about, JC.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Custody of Dominic ladder
Oh,
match.
God.
I'm your puppy.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like, just go back and watch the promos leading up to that match. Eddie Guerrero was on fire. The whole "I'm your poppy." There was T-shirts for that. It's classic. It's
Hilarious.
classic.
That's when the
Yeah.
WWE was in its heyday, man. That was
yeah.
awesome.
Nothing was off limits in the Attitude Era. So
Nothing.
Except zombies. Except zombies.
They wouldn't even have stooped to zombies. They did much worse than that, Ted.
I'll tell you though, there was a lot of gifs of the Animaniacs going around like, "Hey, Zack Snyder, it's a 7-minute segment. Move it along," you know.
Oh, man. So listen, I enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting and innovative. And listen, they've it's cheesy, right? But
It was
they
cheesy.
put so much thought into the situations that they put the wrestlers in throughout the match that I'm just like, all right, look, they get a B for effort because they really thought this and took this as far as they possibly could. So I know I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean,
Obviously,
I'll leave it at that.
It obviously was not the best match of the night. That definitely goes to Roman Reigns and Cesaro. But
Yeah,
if you want to ask me what the best wrestling event of the weekend was, it was definitely Impact Under Siege. That one was really good on Saturday night. So, but we'll talk about that on the WrestleCast live tomorrow night.
You know what we need to talk about next that I think warrants some discussion. I don't know if you all caught this, but 60 Minutes, man. They were running some wild stuff the other day on Sunday. And I'm gonna go ahead and share this because it's straight off of Twitter, man.
Is it safe for work?
They were actually showing like, you know, some government officials, and they were talking about UFO of all things, you know, and they were talking about the actual, you know, UAP footage that they've seen, you know, and everybody's checking out. There's another one here too, so I don't want to get his ding, but this is just a still pick. But this was on, you know, 60 Minutes. You can go to the 60 Minutes website and check out the full interview. It's like 13 minutes. It's not that long. But they're talking to, you know, government officials, people who used to head up the UAP, and they were talking with, you know, ex-pilots, things like that have seen these unidentified aerial phenomenon, is what they're calling them, aka UFOs, and they're about to go ahead and confirm, and the Pentagon's all but confirmed that these things are legit. They are real. They don't know where they come from, and they're, you know, they pose a security risk for us. So they're like, these things can turn on a dime. There's no propulsion systems of any kind. They have been observed over aircraft carriers and, you know, aircraft fighters and whatnot, you know. I mean, it's wild, dude. Who would have ever thought that they would actually admit, hey, there are in fact real UFOs and we don't know where they come from or what they are. I think it's a big turn for society at this particular point in time.
It tracks, right? All the weirdest, craziest stories have been coming out since 2020 or 2019. So this completely tracks. What's interesting is actually they've been doing this for a few years now, but nobody's cared because it's no longer the biggest story anymore. So for the last couple of years, the government has been not denying or not hiding things anymore. They've been like declassifying stuff throughout the last, let's say, 18 months or so. And the one video you kind of screenshot there was a video that included a Navy pilot by the name of David Fravor. I don't remember what year that's from, but there's a great interview with the Navy pilot David Fravor, and he actually talks to Joe Rogan about it, like the entire experience, and they call it the Tic Tac.
Yeah.
Did the most impossible maneuvers while he was trying to track it down and investigate exactly what it was, that if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. So, yeah, something that if it's man-made, because we're not saying this is aliens. We're saying it's an unidentified aerial object. If it's man-made, it's technology far beyond anything we can imagine at this point. And if it's not man-made, then yeah, aliens have been here. They've been here for a very long time, and we have nothing capable of flying against them because that thing can travel hundreds of miles in a matter of seconds. So yeah, that's what that's about.
So if it's man-made, time travel is real. That's basically what you're trying to say, right?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an odd thing. You know, they even talked about some rods that they found on Skinwalker Ranch on season 2. I don't know if you caught that, but the relatives of the man who did this extensive, let's say, piece of data collection of all the UFOs and all that stuff that were observed on Skinwalker Ranch, he actually found 3 rods that they could not cut, they could not melt. Anything they try to do to him, it would not put a dent in these 3 rods. And they,
That's what it is.
nothing. They said that what he thought they were cast off fuel cells from some type of unidentified aerial phenomenon. And there was a aviation, let's say, mogul named Bigelow who brought Skinwalker Ranch, and the family showed him the rods. He took possession of them, never gave them back, and he built his aeronautic empire on supposedly this type of technology. So
Wow.
it's one of these weird kind of stories that goes way back then, back into like the 60s, 70s era, I guess you could say. So it was bizarre, you know, and now you get this confirmation from the government that in fact these things are real. So strange things, man, strange things. You never know what's going to happen here. Who knows what they want, where they're from, or what's going on. Who knows? Maybe they're man-made. Maybe somebody else is making them. They're just probes or drones or something. Who knows?
Oh, well, if they are, again, these objects, these vehicles, these aerial vehicles are doing things that are breaking the laws of physics. They don't have any type of exhaust. They don't have any type of energy trail. Like there's nothing that is known that could propel objects that fast, that far, at speeds that we've never seen before. And yeah, it's mind-boggling the things that they're witnessing, and it's on the video. They caught it. It was they tried to catch it. They couldn't, but they tried.
Yeah.
And it was against one of our best Navy pilots and one of our best fighter jets, and he couldn't keep up with it. That's how insane it was.
Yeah. For the full
So, yeah.
interview, just check out the 60 Minutes website. It's there. Like I said, it's only 13 minutes, but it's intriguing nonetheless.
Definitely. And also, we have some other stuff if you want to check out our Facebook page. Zack Snyder revealed a photo of Wayne T. Carr as Jon Stewart from the cutting room scene for his Snyder Cut, where Wayne T. Carr was playing Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. You can see that photo on our Facebook page.
Zack
You can
Snyder's
also see
getting all sorts of ridiculous already. I'm like, it's
stop it
enough.
already.
It's enough, man. It's enough. Stop it. Really. Like, I had this character in here. I had this character in here.
You know, I mean, come on.
It's just getting ridiculous at this point. The character's not in the movie. There's not going to be another cut. Why even mention it at this point? We're never going to see it.
If they ask,
we're not going to see it.
If the fans ask, then he's going to be like, oh, here you go. What's the problem?
You know, it's getting ridiculous to the point that he's going to say, oh, you know who I also had doing a cameo in the Zack Snyder Justice League cut? The freaking Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. I'm just like, bro, come on, man.
I don't think those are DC.
I'm just saying that's how ridiculous.
Santa Claus is canon in the DC universe.
I'm just saying,
there's
man.
comics with him in it.
It's getting ridiculous already, bro. Like, stop,
well,
man.
This is a good segue to the main story about this whole merger thing, because
it is.
Now we don't even know what's going to happen to HBO Max based on this.
Our free ride is done, JC.
Well, we'll see, because it is technically a joint venture. But maybe with Discovery taking it over, maybe there's Zack Snyder fans like, you know what? Let's do a new cut, just to put that added scene in there. give you a Blu-ray release with that scene in there. Why not?
I
mean,
can't, JC. It's already 4 hours, bro. I'm like,
all you're doing is replacing the Martian Manhunter at the end with Jon Stewart.
I'm
That's
just
the
like, dude.
All it is.
That's all it is. It's one scene. Like Warner Brothers couldn't just let this guy do what he intended it to do, but apparently thought he was just going to step on what they had planned for the Green Lantern, And yeah, even in that respect, they just wanted to step on it to make sure this got no traction. We mentioned the whole Zack Snyder trilogy trailer. Like, they're trying to say this is it. They're trying to get fans to just shut the hell up about wanting to see the rest of it. We want to see the rest of it because you screwed it up. That's really what it's about. So, and Snyder wants to talk about it. Let him talk about it. If he want to ask about it, what's he supposed to not ask about it? I mean, believe me, Army of the Dead has gotten enough promotion. Trust me, as a wrestling fan, it's gotten enough promotion. If Zack Snyder wants to have a press conference about Army of the Dead and answer questions about his Snyderverse with the DCU, let him have it. Just let him
At
go.
this point, it's like it's already done, bro. Just move on, man.
It's fine, but fans are gonna want to see it. I mean,
Listen,
you could have said that years ago about Young Justice, and Ted still kept it going.
Look, we gotta stop getting on Zach about this, because then you're taking the blame off of the individuals that created this whole situation to begin with. It was the executive Kevin Tsuchihara, who was let go from his position because he was having an affair with an actress. It was guys like Jeff Johns, who was threatening the careers of characters in the Snyder Cut. Guys like Joss Whedon, who was like berating them on set and also threatening their careers. Like, if you keep telling Zach like stop what you're doing, then you're just like defending the horrible individuals that put him in this situation to begin with. Listen, hindsight is 2020. And it looks like here we all understand that the Snyder Cut should never have happened. It should have been the original release for Justice League. You postpone the release. You give your director whatever he needs, time to mourn or a replacement to finish the post-production for that film. It was already shot movie, and all you had to do was put it together. Instead, they hired a guy named Joss Whedon to reshoot
the whole movie. Yeah,
3/4 of the movie, and thus we are where we are today. We have to go about it this way because of bonehead decisions by executives who are no longer making decisions because they're that bad at their job. And even guys like Toby Emmerich is already looking for a new job because of the merger we're about to talk about.
But here's the thing. This isn't the last director they're going to do this to. We already know they did it with Godzilla versus Kong. We know that's not the way that movie was supposed to go. There's a lot more that they made the cutting room for, but they want to keep it under 2 hours for some reason because that's the magical time frame. You could have added what they cut out, and that would have been a better movie, in my opinion. So it's not just Zack Snyder. He's just the one that's been the most vocal about it, and the fans are in his corner. So
yeah, before we have our segue into our next discussion, which is probably going to be about Time Warner.
Yeah.
There is a new series that's coming out, and if you're a fan of the Da Vinci Code, it's called The Lost Symbol. It's a new series that's going to be debuting.
Tina has read that book. Tina has read that book. She's actually read all those books.
Yeah,
so
it's coming out, man. It's going to be coming out on the Peacock Network, and it's going to have a young Robert Langdon, and it's going to be a series. If you're familiar with the book, they kidnap his mentor. So now he has to devise, these series of clues left behind to kind of, find out what's going on here. But it looks interesting nonetheless, because I love the Da Vinci Code. I like the books. And now we're going to get to see the lost symbol come to life.
If Tom Hanks is going to play that? Or
no, it's a different actor. They have a trailer out already. They couldn't afford him. But I commend the Peacock Network, NBC Universal, for at least delivering something that as high level as this series to kind of come back into the streaming game, because right now they're kind of seeing themselves pushed out a little bit, because let's just be honest, they haven't been delivering the best content in the world. They've kind of been lacking in that regards. They need to start releasing some original series, some interesting movies, something to really get the fans intrigued to seeing what they can really do. And I know one of the original series that's going to be coming out for them is going to be the new Battlestar Galactica series. That intrigues me because I'm a big time Battlestar Galactica fan. So I'm waiting for that to drop. We got a little hint of what's to come, and I'm excited for it, man. And it's going to be directed by the same director who directed the series Mr. Robot. And I loved me some Mr. Robot, so I got high hopes for
Damn good.
Battlestar. Yeah.
Yeah, NBC's got a lot of work ahead of them. They've lost the NHL as far as broadcast rights after this season because ESPN outbid them for the primary rights, and then TNT outbid them for the secondary rights. So
by what, a couple billion?
Yeah, good amount. And NBC really on the sports game, they really only have Notre Dame football,
soccer,
but
WWE?
NHL was their big thing, their big money maker too, and like one NFL game a week pretty much. So they're going to struggle for a bit, and I think they really got to put a lot into the streaming to keep them going.
Well, they do have WWE right now too, so
yeah, and then they'll have the Olympics, obviously, but you know, that's like the biggest thing, but that's only once every couple of years, you know. So they really gotta bank on that.
They need to do something with their MonsterVerse stuff. I mean, that it's the characters are kind of already been around for some time, but it's good for them to come back and get them back in the game. Maybe do some interesting storylines, you know, something new, something fresh with these characters that they have licenses for. You know, I want to see the MonsterVerse put together. We got a little hint of that.
It's
that
over,
Mummy movie.
Joe. It's never gonna happen. What are you talking about?
Remember
man?
the horrid Mummy movie that came out, and that was supposed to be the start of something, but it never was because it was bad. It was bad, you know. But
it was
okay.
Something. It wasn't crazy. Yeah. It was all right.
Revitalize the MonsterVerse, man. Do something with that.
I'm down. I wish they would. And then I talked about it. They should do the MonsterVerse, and when the team up comes around, then you call it the Monster Squad. And
Lord.
you redo the Monster Squad because it's about that time. It's been 30 years since Monster Squad came out.
I still got the DVD, the green one, the green case DVD.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, we'll bust that out and watch it sometime.
All right. Now for our main story of the day. We've been teasing it throughout the show, so we're going to go ahead and talk about it. The big news that was on all the airwaves: AT&T agrees to merge WarnerMedia with Discovery. AT&T, which bought Time Warner and a lot of its assets years ago, set up this WarnerMedia division to control all of the projects, the content for Warner Brothers and all of their other assets. And now they're done with it. AT&T, which is a telecom company, has been trying to get out of the streaming wars and trying to get out of the media game for quite some time. So this basically just solidifies it. They're going to give all of the Warner Media content over to Discovery, and not
for half price at that, Ted.
It's a joint venture. They're basically going to co-own it. That's really what it is.
Co-own it, but they're kind of washing their hands a little bit of it. They want to be a lot less involved with it and just get back to whatever they're supposed to be doing.
Half of the board members,
and 5G and all that.
Half of the board members are going to be AT&T appointees, so
they got to make their money back somehow.
Oh yeah, well, it's going to be a joint thing. It's the same thing they're doing with their DirecTV spinoff. They've taken Uverse, AT&T TV, and DirecTV. They're spinning that off into its own company, just called Flat DirecTV. With I think it's the TPG Capital Company, and AT&T is going to own 70% of that. So they're spinning that off, and you know, I mean that's the TV way it's going. It's going streaming now. So
yeah, everybody's cutting the cord, but
yeah,
they brought AT&T brought the rights to WarnerMedia way back in the day for about $83 million, and now they're selling those rights to Discovery for the low price of only $43 billion. That's a steal.
Only.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you look and see what Discovery has. They have a conglomerate of, you know, all these reality TV shows, you know, everything on Discovery. Then Discovery owns the Home and Garden channel, which is soon going to be the Magnolia Network. They got a Discovery Plus live streaming, you know, service going on. And I think this move, what it does is now it brings this licensed let's say shows, TVs and all that to the Discovery Plus network. which is going to make Discovery Plus even more intriguing. It's going to actually make it probably one of the biggest streaming conglomerates out there, on par to compete with Netflix. So that's a big move,
Or do
For
they
sure.
merge it with HBO Max? That's the interesting
Yeah,
part.
it'd be interesting. Are we going to see Discovery shows show up on HBO Max? And as long as we still get it for free, JC, I'm not complaining.
Okay,
We'll
there's
see what happens there, man.
I wouldn't mind. First of all, I'm happy that I have AT&T Fiber, and I invested that when it launched in my
I do
neighborhood.
too.
That's paying off right now.
Amen.
But where they made the mistake is they're going $15 a month for a brand new streaming service. That's a little too much.
For what, Discovery Plus?
No, when HBO Max launched.
Oh,
HBO
yeah.
Max,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. If you $9.99, okay, we could work with that, and then slowly start increasing the price, which is what Disney's been doing. But you got to start low, and I think that turned a lot of people off on wanting to subscribe unless they had an avenue to get it for free.
Well, they're going to
So-
have to charge so much now because they have all the movies basically that are on the streaming service the same day that they're in theaters. So that somebody has to pay for that, and as long as they include it with your monthly bill, I think it's still a great value. Unlike
Mhm.
Disney, where you still pay for Disney Plus, then you have to pay for Premier Access, and that's like
Facts.
$29. It's still cheaper than going to the movies, but it's too much,
Who's doing that?
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
No one's doing it.
Unless it's going to be a new Star Wars movie or something, I ain't watching it, dude.
Well, we got the Obi-Wan series coming out pretty soon, so not a movie, but still a.
Is it legit Obi-Wan or is it the Mexican version?
How you
Obi-Wan.
Legit Obi-Wan, legit Darth Vader. It's gonna be a blast from the past, man. It's gonna be great.
So it's not going to be my Uncle Beto dressed in a robe out there on his drunken stupor.
No guarantees,
Obi-Wan.
man. No guarantees. It could.
No, but that'll probably be on YouTube later. Who knows?
It could
Oh,
be.
there was some good stuff. If y'all haven't been checking out social media, I'll share it with you afterwards. It's wild,
Yeah.
man. Florida is a sunshine state, and there's wild times going on over there, dude.
I believe it. I believe it. So listen, more about this deal. AT&T just got in way over their head. Is basically what it comes down to. They don't have the resources. They don't want to dedicate the resources to competing with the giants such as Netflix, which is still overpowering anybody. Netflix spends $17 billion on content. They're expected to this year for 2021. And AT&T already is in the hole for $170 billion. So yeah, they're drowning and they panic and they just want somebody else to kind of take the lead on this. So the merger, we don't know exactly what it means. We know that it includes a lot of the media content. It also includes some of the video game content. Not all, but some. So some of the games that we are looking forward to coming out this year that's been postponed, Gotham Knights, Back 4 Blood, which is a Left 4 Dead style first-person shoot 'em up game. Those are going to be affected in some shape, way, or form. So WB Games may have to sell some of these properties off or do something, but we don't exactly know. But that's going to be
out there. If they sell off the Harry Potter game franchise, somebody pick it up and make me a sequel to Quidditch World Cup, because that was a very, very good game years ago on the PlayStation 2.
You have it on GameCube? Huh? You have it on the GameCube, I believe.
I have it on PS2, but I mean, it was the same game. But
yeah,
I've been waiting I want a sequel to that, and give me like an updated version of that. That's such a good game,
Well, you've seen the game that they're coming out with, right?
For which one?
There's a Harry Potter game coming out this year, Hogwarts Legacy. I dropped the trailer during the PS5 event last year, but yeah, check out Hogwarts Legacy. It looks dope. It looks great. Action role-playing video game set in the late 1800s. There you go.
Okay.
And it's developed by Avalanche Software, so ties to your hockey team.
Two different things. Well, okay,
I'm sure it's the same. And
hang on, let me look up something real quick.
Should be coming out next year.
I don't care what AT&T does, but just protect Lily at all costs. You know, you gotta get money to pay for those commercials.
Exactly.
They should give her own
Exactly.
series, man. She's funny.
Do it. It
She's
should.
actually a comedian and she's an actress, so I'd like to see.
Yeah, they've tried that. They've tried that with
Mira,
commercial.
whatever her name is.
Remember when they did that with the Geico cavemen? They tried to give them their own TV show. It didn't work out.
Jeez. They canceled the George Lopez show for that shit. You kidding me? Just throw it out there. But, you know.
So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You never know.
Lily's name, the actress name is Miliana Vantrub. She needs her own show. Hashtag free Lily.
There you go. There you go.
I think the biggest part of this merger, though, that's the big wild card for me, is the DC Comics. Is completely it's part of this joint venture now.
Discovery owns that now.
You know, we don't know what's going to happen with HBO Max. Obviously, there's the DC Streaming Infinite service that's still out there. There's just a comic interface now. If HBO Max goes by the wayside, are they going to bring back the DC streaming service? I mean, where are they going to go with this? Because there's a lot of shows that they moved over to HBO Max that are exclusives, and they have seasons coming up, like Titans, for example. And where do we go from here? There's a lot of questions on this. Cartoon Network, TNT, TBS. So a lot of
they
rights
own
to
the
like
Turner
NBA.
Sports. They own the Turner Sports.
Yeah. NBA, NHL now. AEW is under Turner. The broadcast rights are on TNT.
So was the NBA playoffs?
Yeah. And soon the NHL starting next season too. So that's going to be very, very interesting. But Discovery, obviously, they want to get into the entertainment realm of it. At this point, they're very much documentaries, reality TV, and stuff like that. So this is a good way to get in. And
they might get so big that the House of the Mouse, Disney, might just have to buy Discovery outright.
Give it time.
That's a big.
They're going to complete their Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh man, listen. So this merger happens today. They've actually been planning it for months. What's real shady is that the CEOs that got together and kind of planned this whole thing out that included the future of WarnerMedia. They never bothered to tell Jason Kilar, who's the CEO of WarnerMedia. So it's some very shady stuff going on behind the scenes, if you ask me.
I think news broke ahead of time that it might happen last night. Actually, I was reading up articles last night, and they officially announced it this morning. So
and he had no idea. So completely blindsided by this, and that's why, even though they said he can keep his job, he's probably going to step down or look for something else going forward. Other than that, probably not a lot that's going to happen in the near future. I think a lot of the major changes might happen late this year or early next year. Discovery Plus and HBO Max, if I had to put my money down, I'd say you're looking at a new streaming service that incorporates the content from both of them. Maybe it's called HBO Discovery Max. I don't know what they would call it, but the landscape is going to change once again. The streaming wars will go on, but these two alliances are coming together, and so it gets even stranger, even weirder. But listen, I mean, that's just what's going to be happening from time and time again. Just these major corporations and studios eventually kind of butting up and merging like this. So it's very strange.
It's going to take at least a year for all this to go through. They got to do shareholder approvals, regulatory stuff, all the red tape. So probably by the summer of next year, well, ironically, maybe on the anniversary of the launch of HBO Max, they'll finally close on the deal sometime mid next year. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes from here. But in the meantime, just thankfully, the deal HBO Max says they're going to bring all their releases to HBO Max, all the WarnerMedia releases to HBO Max for free for the first month. They're going to still hold true to that, obviously. So at least for the next year, we should still be good as far as my fiber paying for my HBO Max. So.
Yeah, there's no sense in getting worked up about what the changes are going to look like right now. It's going to take a long time for all this to happen. And I'm also not hating it, right? Because Discovery Plus, there's a lot of shows I want to watch that are on Discovery Plus.
Yes.
And so if I can get both of these things in one place, one stop shop, then I'm actually kind of all for it. So I need HGTV and I need some of these other channels, ID and all that.
It's
I
cheaper
want
than
that.
Peacock for no ads too, and then I love DIY's Texas Flip and Move. I think that's like my favorite of those home improvement shows.
There you
Just
go.
take a house, move it, flip it, and then auction it off. I just love that they have an auctioneer from Texas on there. It's great.
Yeah,
so
fantastic. All right, man, crazy story. And this also will affect DC Comics. How it affects them, it's anybody's guess, really. You're getting, another mindset into the boardroom about what Warner Brothers should be doing going forward. So it's
We're gonna
anybody's
see
guess
Lobo
how this is
on
going to
the
change.
deadliest catch on deck, catching a crab out there in the Bering Sea.
There you go.
I hope not. I hope it doesn't get that ridiculous, but yeah.
Do some crossovers. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
give me
Go for it.
Krypton season 3. That's all I give a shit about. This
Oh, true that, man.
Do a King Shark Week. King Shark at Shark Week.
Oh, hey, I could get behind that. That.
Right? And
Hosted by
yes,
King Shark.
that's your hand.
Now that's interesting.
Yes.
Shark Week,
You
hosted by
imagine.
King
Shark
Shark.
Week's gonna be epic now.
And
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
but King Shark will probably eat all the cameramen and stuff before the show's over.
Hey, I'm down with that, man. That's fine with me. All right. That'll do it for this episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. We want to hear from you. Do you like the news about WarnerMedia merging with Discovery? Do you not like it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or you can always send us a message by clicking the send a message button on Facebook, or you could always email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowntothegeekcast.com. For the Geekcast, my name is Steady. With me on this episode is the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who's still watching the Avalanche game. You know him as JC.
It's 1-1 the second intermission. This whole series is going to be a goalie standoff, man. These are two great goalies. But thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. And by the way, check out the trailer for The Forever Purge, the final movie in the series. I highly recommend.
They said about the last one.
No, this is it. Just based on the storyline, they said this is it, unless they do more prequels or TV series. But I highly recommend. If you haven't watched the movies, watch them. Watch the 2 seasons of the TV series. This movie is going to be pretty insane, and I look forward to it. Good cast too, by the way.
It's probably going to go on forever, just like Fast and the Furious. Now they're going to be in outer space or on
space.
Mars or something. I mean, it's
Cassidy Freeman, by
other
the way,
planets.
Smallville alum Cassidy Freeman is in this movie too. So that's
cool.
Pretty cool to see her in there. Yeah, and she's also great on The Righteous Gemstones, which is getting set to film season 2 for HBO. So great series, hilarious. Yeah.
There you go. We also got the man behind the magic, the one and only Joe Garcia.
Yeah, thank you everybody for listening and putting up with us and watching. Make sure you subscribe, you like this, share it, and again, we appreciate all your support. So, good night, everybody. We're moving on now because I know I'm tired. JC needs to get some of his, be able to see some of his playoff game there for the Colorado Avalanche.
It's the third period. You don't want to be in the third period. I got to keep my mouth shut. So I'm cussing out
Exactly.
and everything. So go Avs, baby, to the cup.
That's where he's going to start punching holes in the wall.
I just might. No, babe, that's the thunder outside.
No.
Have a good night, folks. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Cheers.